Welcome to the Whirlies. Today I have 4 cards for you again. Today is November 19, Tuesday, November 19. And let me give you 4 cards for a worldwide global reading for those who are interested in knowing the universal energy of our world today. Bottom to the top and top to the bottom. And let me see. I'm gonna like this. And again, no, I think not. This time the bottom goes down and the top goes up. And that's it. 4 cards. Alright, so first card I see the 10 of Wands and the 4 of Pentacles. So the 10 of Wands and then the 4 of Pentacles. There are a lot of interference during this day. In the morning, I had a lot of interference, like a lot of technical issues. I even kind of screwed my phone in the morning. I don't know what's going on, but first of all, there's a lot of people that's ready for something in the world, like ready for something, and they're gathering up a lot of things. There are people that are gathering a lot of there is a lot of people that's working a lot, especially men. Masculine energy, I see only masculine energy like all around this reading. So the 10 of Wands, I see a lot of men carrying tools or anything that is a representation of wands. Okay, it could be tools, it could be anything you can imagine that men use for like tools. Okay, it could be anything related to that. I'm not going to be specific because I want to really be able to capture the great sphere of things happening around the world. So I'm gonna just give you a general reading. There is a lot of masculine energy that are carrying a lot of things around. It looks like they're outside of cities. They're outside of cities, but in proximity to cities, especially proximity to castles. They're getting things to cities as well, so there may be a lot of trading or logistics involved. These men are really focused on carrying those things, and I see that leaders in cities, for example, I see with the 4 pentacles, I see that authorities and those in charge of the money are ready. They seem to be ready, and they are stable or have taken a decision in regards to move funds around and to destine tools and resources into certain things that have been thought about and that seem to be looking for not seem to be looking, they seem to be already planned, already thought about. And so maybe, for example, these things that people is carrying around, they seem to be already waiting and charged, and the things have been already delivered. And I see that there is a lot of emphasis of cities, like big cities especially, and um, like a lot of mental energy focusing on those cities, but from outside, like, and with the Four of Pentacles, I see that there are leaders that have entire cities behind them, and they have to keep everything, they have to sustain cities. And what else? So, these cards, the Ten of Pentacles and the Ten of Wands and the Four of Pentacles, they are swapped energy. So the Ten of Wands was in the bottom of the deck, and the Four of Pentacles was on the top of the deck, but I swapped the energies. So I understand, like by projection, I understand what people want to do. So initially, people wanted to portray as stability. So, like, authorities and everyone wants to look like everything is just done, you know. Then in reality, actually, there is a lot of people that's just working a lot, and actually a lot of stressed men, not stressed, but there's a lot of manpower that's being used. And these guys are carrying a lot of things. Okay, it seems like, for example, one single unit or one single division or one single department, or one single person, one single employee is working like for carrying a lot of things, like almost like an ant. Have you seen those ants that carry like big things around? Something like that. So this could actually represent as well like machines, using machines that carry things that are very heavy. I see that too. So people all around the world is trying to appear like they have everything like said and done, and everything is just easy peasy and uh, stable, especially in the cities. And in reality, there is a lot of work that's been done behind the scenes by people, by employees, by in every level. Okay. And that's like why the reality of what's going on right now. At least in this reading, take what resonates. Remember that this is a general reading. It's not about a certain country, it's about the entire planet. Okay, so that's why I'm not trying to give you details about specific locations, though I can see that this is especially around places with a lot of nature like trees, and also in places where there is a lot of heat in the seas. Yeah, in the seas, and maybe in cities, like on cities, like a city that's very a lot of heat in those cities, and also cities that are clouded. Cities that are clouded, a little clouded, So in the next part of the reading, like the next two cards are, and these are not swapped energy. So this is like what people is actually trying to portray. So there is a lot of thoughts in this part of the reading that is a little bit more under the surface. The most above the surface is the Four of Pentacles. So I think overall, politicians and leaders and everyone in a position of power is trying to portray themselves as someone that's stable, as someone that knows what they're doing, especially with money, in regards to money. And behind them, what people actually see around them in their workplaces and everywhere that's productive in humanity. Societies are actually seeing a lot of work a lot of work, like a lot of manpower being used to carry a lot of goods, a lot of tools, a lot of resources around the place. And it seems like everything is because of some kind of plan or some kind of decision that's been long time ago taken. That's what I can see, like, intuitively, or feel intuitively. I feel it like more than see it. And a layer below that, a layer below that level, there is a place of like subconsciously could be, or there is another level of society in which there is uh, mental energy. Sorry, mental energy being used a lot. And I see that, for example, there is an energy that's like more assertive and active, and there is another energy that's more with the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords is like there are some people that is feeling like defeated, or that they just don't want to do certain things anymore. I see especially one man, obviously one masculine energy with yellow, yellow, like with yellow, and it looks like psychologically they feel diminished and their moral is down. There is also other a man that's just, like leaving their swords in the floor, and their colors are more red and green and white. And there is a big guy in this Five of Swords with green, red, and reddish, more warm colors. And it seems like it has the upper hand for now, or the upper, like the word, the voice, to take certain mental decisions, like some decisions. So yeah, there could have been a lot of arguing or even fights, like debates, for example. And it seemed like two parties are just kind of tired and are actually losing morale very quickly. Remember that this is general, so this is like, around the world there are like three proportions of 100, and there is like almost half. I see like almost half that's not agreeing to all of certain situation anymore. I see also that around the world is a lot of places where clouds are dark today at this very time. And I also see that some, like, humanity is filled with cloud, like confusion. I can see maybe it's because of the certain news that we have today, like or yesterday, Monday 18, Monday 18, 2024. So I see that there is, like, mentally, there is a lot of people. I can see that almost everyone is just so focused on what's going on in regards to certain places and certain parties and certain communities around the world. And there are very, 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 very masculine, like, not masculine. A part of great parts of masculine energy is just getting ready to keep on going and keep on moving forward certain path that has been already set. They're moving forward with a lot of uh, it could be, I hear, propaganda, or it could be, it could be propaganda, it could be just general narratives and speech and words. It doesn't have to be propaganda. If you repeat something once, it is just uh, a word, or a quote. If you keep on repeating that again and again, it's a narrative. And if you keep on repeating a narrative once and again and again and again, swiping it around, then it's propaganda. So there is a lot of use of words. And I also see in other parts that even though this is happening in some level, there is some other level where humans are actually very determined to keep on looking for a happy family, with the 10 of cups and the 7 of wands. So maybe this is also what people like subconsciously want, that it is completely understandable to think that everyone is actually trying to get to this place, incredibly as it sounds. It is actually understandable that everyone, like you could say like right and left and center, and you could actually say that in general, every human being and everyone that is not sick or is not mentally ill or that is stable, their ultimate goal is to procreate, to create families, to grow as a society or as a family or as a collective or as a community. It's completely understandable to know that almost every human has that goal as the end goal, and that they're gonna do almost everything to attain that with the 7 of wands. Um, so yeah, that's what I see for now. And let me just get um, two major arcanas. Just two. I just want two major arcanas for this reading, right? Just two major arcanas, nothing else. So just give me an overall energy of what's going on around the world, and just two cards, please. Bottom to the top and top to the bottom. Oh, dude, incredible. I had this thing the other day. Um, all right, so again, a swipe up energy. So people is trying to look that there are like this society, spiritually speaking, society is renewing, society is moving forward with taking care of children and things like that. But I see like they all want children to be protected and things like that, but I see that nature and the sun is like, the sun is saying like, you know what, I see another thing. um with the sun card and the bottom in a swiped up swipe, like bottom to the top and top to the bottom energy, like projection, taking in count that humans project their energy, and normally what they do is not what they actually wanted want to get, or what they're saying is not actually what they do. So by projection, I can see that there is the sun card is saying us there is a lot of things that are down there in darkness, and there is a lot of things that people are not actually watching in regards to what's going on with the planet Earth. I can see that there is a lot of anguish and tired souls around the world, and not only human souls, as incredible as you think, they are not the most relevant because the entire planet is a system. So, unfortunately, you guys, yes, there is a lot of other souls that are suffering right now, and God or spirit or the universe is actually taking care and seeing everything that's going around, and So the message is like, even though everything looks like is going to get better, or that everyone is trying to do things in order for the next generations to be better, I can see with the sun card that there is certain developments in nature that are unknown for now, that God knows what's going on and what's going to happen. And I can see that probably they are about solar flares, or and and I don't even say like one solar flare. I see like a couple of uh, days or months, that these solar flares, like these things uh, are going to happen. Well, there is like a lot of things, at least one, to like more than a dozen of developments or events that we don't know that are relevant to us, and they are not completely connected to what we do, but to the planet itself and the solar system. And that we should, like, the message here is that we should actually take a better look at animals this time, like at nature, because there are signs. That's what I say. Like, if you want to protect future generations, keep on looking for more signs around you, uh, more than what you are actually having within your societies. Incredible message. And this also, and this with the judgment and the emperor, I can see that spirit is reminding us that there has been certain decisions that have been taken, and that some leaders are going to be called to take accountability and to move on to a next phase of what they are, which is leaders, or people in position of power. And the universe is calling certain leaders to understand that there are certain souls or certain energies that are gonna get into, or already getting into, the planet, and that unfortunately they also will have to go through a renewal, or they will have to take decisions. And also there will be some times in which they won't have to change the chance. They won't have to change because they won't have the chance to change. They will just have to move on. And this is greatly speaking about, transformation. I don't want to say like, this is really speaking about transformation, if you understand what I'm talking about. So certain leaders, especially all leaders, they have to understand that eventually there are some decisions that are not anymore on their hands, um, in regards to their own lives, especially in regards to their own lives and what they need to do in a personal spiritual level to move on to next level, and to move on with the process, to go on with the process. uh, we all know that we all born, then we get old, and then we die, right? So spirit is saying, there are some things, that some cycles that are natural to happen, and they are encouraging certain leaders or certain people of age, or maybe certain people that are in risky situations right now, to also reconnect to the part of their spirit that intuitively understands that eventually they will have to face the reality of their mortality. This is incredible. Wow, this is a huge reading. And I also see that these leaders have to understand that, um, or some of them, a message is like, of what I said before. Most of humanity is trying to get into a place where they can reproduce and be have families. Most of them want to actually do this, and most of them are always trying to do that. So the message here is, you have to understand that it is not entire, like everything is not a fight, even though you see it that way. Maybe you will actually the thing that you actually have to see as a leader is that most humans don't want to fight. Most humans as a society, they want to have a happy family for themselves, and that's something that certain leaders seem to not understand. And the message here is eventually your mindset will transform. I'm trying to not be direct with what I'm saying, but eventually you will have to go, and your mindset will go with you, and it will young people will come, and there are certain events in nature and natural things that are gonna keep on happening, and unfortunately they're not gonna be stoppable. That's what I say. They're not gonna be stoppable. So the message is to connect with more with nature, look around more, and look for signs of what's going on, because I see that the spiritual advice here is that even though society thinks, as we said in the beginning, that everything that they do may be sufficient, it may not. Okay? It may not be sufficient. If certain decisions, especially decisions that are taken, I see like out of nothing, I just got like this around Christmas time, for example, that this is an opportunity for leaders to actually like adjust. I see like this is an opportunity for leaders to adjust. And this is a reminder that God knows everything you're actually thinking. And that even if you don't believe in God, unfortunately, we are in a system. Even if we don't believe in God, we're like between a system, a solar system that really goes around. This reminds me of last reading. I also saw the sun. I didn't saw the moon, but I saw the sun. And these two readings, there has been like this message of me looking the sun, that there is consciousness, and consciousness is looking, is seeing. And even though there's some things that are in the darkness and humans try to just sleep it through, they're like not even God, not even only God. There is a lot of other beings that actually know what's going on. And I see some incredible intuitive impulses from nature, that have incredible wisdom that we need to take more attention to. Okay. So that's all. Thank you very much for listening to this reading. If you liked it, be sure to subscribe, like, and share, you know. And this is going to be uploaded to Spotify, YouTube completely, and it's going to be on our social networks as well. TikTok, Instagram, and yeah, TikTok, Instagram, and X. So thank you very much. And this was The Wellies, and I'm Lan, your host. I hope you took anything that was helpful from this reading. And remember that this is just a general reading, and it is not intended to be any advice, any professional advice of any kind. It is just to be a message, or entertaining, or just something that makes you wonder or imagine certain things, certain perspectives, possibilities. And I really thank you for being here. Have a nice week.